Guys, it's Captain Invisible here, and welcome to another Medieval 2 Total War online commentary battle. This is probably the only advantage I ever see in the grassy flatlands. Being able to see all the way down the line, you can see that this is indeed a 4 versus 4 battle between 4 very skilled veteran. Thank you, not veterinary. That's me. Veteran. Medieval 2 Total War players. And all the way down this line, you can see that we've got some fancy armies to take to the field and try and destroy each other with typical Medieval 2 Total War style. We might as well go down the start of the list. So over in this corner, playing as Egypt, we have Sayan. So a very nice faction, Egypt. I'm glad he brought Egypt. It's not one you see that often, but they do have some pretty nice cavalry and some nice little tricks up the sleeve. So yeah, very nice faction there. And facing Sayan, we've got a Teutonic Elite. Playing as Russia, so he will be facing the might of Egypt with his Russian force. A pretty nice army, actually. I was reviewing the replay this morning, and I was looking over this army, and given the amount of funds we got in this battle, which wasn't a lot, he's done quite a lot with it. And he's got a nice mix of cavalry, infantry, and missiles in this force. Over here, we've got the Byzantines being played by gualtieruzzo. And in typical Byzantine fashion, he's brought a lot of heavy infantry. And surprisingly, no archers. It does have a meat screen of peasants and spear militia, Byzantine spearmen here. And then some cavalry backing up, but obviously his main force is his heavy infantry, which will probably try and bludgeon his way through the Mongols. And the Mongol force is being commanded by me, so we've got our work cut out against these Byzantines. I picked the Mongols because I saw the Egyptians, the Byzantines, and the Ottomans, and I thought to myself, well, you know, they can't bring Pavis crossbowmen, so I'll be able to win them out in a skirmish with the Mongols. But as you'll find out, the skirmish never was in this battle. So over on this side, we've got the Turks being played by TheIronPrice, and he's got a lot of these Allen light cavalry. There's a ton of them in this on this flank, and then his centre's got some spearmen, some of these Saracen militia, some of these dismantled spy lancers, and some Nafttuns backing them up. And he will be facing the Papal States, being played by Pug on Fire, and I assume there's some tags there: Blaze and Jen Pug on Fire. And as he's playing the Papal States, he's got a big line of men-at-arms. In fact, he's got quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dismounted men-at-arms. 4 Pavis crossbowmen, and then some men-at-arms cavalry, I think, with a great cross to keep all the morale in check. Then we've got the French being played by D1RTBIKER, or as it spells out, Dirt Biker. As I say, in command of the French, and he's got obviously some nice French knights here with some crossbowmen and a big infantry line of dismounted chivalric knights and pikemen, surprisingly. So Bob will be pleased to see some pikemen in action this battle. Although I don't know what he plans to do with them. We'll see in this battle, and some French mounted archers as well. So we'll we'll see what he uses those for. And he will be facing Criminal-Copykill in command of Spain. So a nice France-Spain battle. and he's got some of these peasant crossbowmen with some Pavis crossbowmen backing them up, and some heavy chivalric knights, mounted and dismounted, with some swordsman militia kind of backing them up, and a sneaky little mailed knight over on this flank to do some flanking manoeuvres. So the battle was, I think, 6-2 cavalry, no artillery elephants. You could bring guns, but I think it was it's high period, so guns tend to be a bit rubbish in the high period. And as you can see, we decided to go balanced with a nice balanced mix of missiles, and our opponents did not. Our opponents decided that they were just going to bum rush us, and I'm certainly gonna have my work cut out with all this infantry. But yeah, our opponents didn't bring too many archers. I think only the French player brought some crossbowmen. So yeah, we've certainly got our work cut out for us in this battle. So the action does happen relatively quickly, and I think I'm only ever gonna be able to get mine and Teutonic Elite's battles in, because those are the ones that happen first, I believe. But also the rest of the action's too far away on this flank. I shall try and go over there as soon as I can, but I've got no promises in this battle, because, as I say, all happens relatively quickly. So we'll go into slow motion. Probably go at 5 speed, just to show you how fast this game happens. 5 speed's the fastest I'd put it on. So I had some peasants up front to sort of absorb missiles, but that never really happens, so they'll just have to be there just to absorb enemy infantry, which will soon be making its way towards my force. It's already making its headway there. And seeing all these, seeing that it doesn't have any missiles, I immediately put my Mongol infantry into tight formation. They generally shoot better in tight formation, and it'll help them resist enemy charges as well. And then I rush up my Mongol horse archers to pick away at the enemy flank. Just have a quick look at everyone else. Looks like the Ottomans are charging forward against a relatively unprepared Papal States force. That's going to be interesting. And France seems to be moving over to take some shots against the Spanish, but Criminal knows he's best sticking with the group, so he's going to move across. It actually looks like the Ottomans, the Turks, are going to get the first taste of blood in this battle. We're going to have some cavalry skirmishes with the Papal States. Meanwhile, on my flank, we've got this peasant horde moving forward, and I've wheeled up some cavalry archers just to pluck away at some of the troops. I did want to go and hit these cavalry and infantry, but I ended up shooting these guys in the back instead, so it was a bit disappointing that my cavalry was shooting this way, but any kills is kills nevertheless. So the Byzantines sent all the cavalry over here. I saw him looking like he was going to go for the Papal States, so I had to stop him, and so I sent all my cavalry off to try and pin down this Byzantine cavalry. And I've got some archers in reserve over here to pluck away any cavalry flanks like this one here and get some nice shots off. But my Mongol heavy cavalry, the Khan's Guard, should do quite well in this fight. They've got these armor-piercing maces, as do the Cataphractoi, but they're not as strong as the Khan's Guard. So we're going to have a nice grind out. The Papal States send some of these religious fanatics over to help with the cavalry fight, and I think these Byzantine cavalry are going to get bogged down and ground out in this this vicinity. The Ottomans have engaged the Papal States main line. We've got some Allen Light Cav over here, and a bunch of these spearmen throwing themselves at the men-at-arms. But dismounted men-at-arms are superior to these Saracen militia, so they are going to do quite well in that fight. There are some Hashashim in here though, which will do better. And then there's a big blob cavalry fight over here with the French knights facing off against the Spanish chivalric knights. That's a fairly even fight, but these Spanish infantry will probably turn the tide. So the cavalry fight is still grinding out on this flank. I did manage to send some spearmen into this fight, and it's going to turn the tide of this battle for my own cavalry. He did manage to sneak some cavalry through, and I think he was going after my Nafatoons, but I've managed to get my general's bodyguard and some spearmen to pin him down. And this, I think, is the Byzantine general bodyguard. Although he is still nice and shiny, and it does actually do quite well at killing my spearmen. I don't know what they were thinking, but they obviously weren't planning a fight or anything. The Russians and the Egyptians have clashed in a big messy fight, as you would expect the Russians expect from the Russians. This flank looks like it's weakened and is breaking, and there's a lot of Egyptians in the back lines of the Russians, if you can call them back lines, but there's still a lot of Russian units. A lot of these dismounted Devor who are quite good in melee out of the fight, so we'll probably see them being thrown in at some point. But right now there's just a big blob of Tabadaria and Hashashim over here, and it looks like they might get surrounded if this side breaks. You could get some Russian infantry around this flank. Some spare Egyptian units coming around this side, and some Byzantine cavalry that managed to escape this fight is now going to end up sneaking around this way. So the cavalry is just about being cleared out of this section, and the infantry is now engaged.
Our brave warriors have killed our foe's general. Now his men will,
and we finally killed the Byzantine general as he was attacking my archers over here. My infantry line is wavering. There's not a lot we can do against these heavy Byzantine infantry. My general tries his best to get into the fight, and I think he might get into this one. I think he just about gets into that one. My Nafatoons, they were firing, but they weren't doing very well. I think I still need some practice with Nafatoons, because I can never seem to... Well, some games I do really well with them, and others I just can't seem to do that well with them. So, you know, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'll probably need some practice with them. All the while, I've got some units of archers just in the back here, firing on the flanks of these Byzantine infantry. My position of my archers was poor as well, but they did do quite well. I've even got some holding the line here for my spearmen, who are unfortunately not doing too well morale-wise. Looks like we do have some Nafatoon fire here, but these Varangian Guard are still going to get into them. And we've even got some Byzantine cavalry coming over to run some hammer and anvils, so yeah, not doing too well in terms of my fight. Fortunately though, the Ottoman army has been seen off by the Papal States, and now he can send cavalry and infantry support against France, who is trying desperately to beat back these Spanish swordsmen. Unfortunately, the pikemen are bugged though, and as you can see, they keep dropping their pikes, so if you don't get pikes just right, then they tend to be a bit fiddly. I think it's why a lot of people don't like playing with them. I think Paladin Bob's the only the only player I know that's determined to play really well with the pikemen. So any tips he has for you, I'm sure he'll share them in future videos. So I do have some of these religious fanatics and Papal States cavalry assisting my flank, but unfortunately this Byzantine infantry is a little bit too superior to my own. Still, my cavalry with their armor piercing maces are really going to work against these against the infantry, and even these avenging guard are no match for my general's bodyguard with his mace wielding guardsmen.
Our warlord has fallen. Trust his warriors will.
But unfortunately, my general gets caught by two of these avenging guard, these two here, and has been weakened. And as a result, my army starts routing at this point. There's not a lot left for me. So my general's bodyguard here, unit of Mongol heavy archers, 6 of these Khan's guard, and I believe this unit of Mongol infantry, who have been firing all this time. I think these guys have got quite a few kills in this battle. I'll have to check those guys out. But yeah, as you can see, the Byzantine infantry is just completely overwhelmed by my army, and the Egyptian cavalry is now coming to assist its Byzantine ally in stopping the Papal States from doing too much damage. However, in doing so, it's left just these camel raiders to defend against these cavalry units. And unfortunately, the infantry fight seems to be fairly even at the moment. These Egyptian infantry are not really pushing through the Russian lines just yet. We've even got some Devar in melee. As you can see, they do look like the dismounted Boyarsons anyway, so they are still a pretty decent unit in melee. And this is what I was worried about, the Drazina of Teutonic Elite getting a nice charge in from the against the Egyptians, and the Egyptian cavalry being over here is in no position to assist, and this is going to be a brutal blow against the Egyptian forces of Sayan, who can't defend against this sort of action. The Papal States has rushed his infantry up to help defeat these Byzantine forces. There's still a lot of Byzantine infantry left, but it's slowly being weakened by the superior numbers of the Papal States. And back here we've got a nice little cavalry fight. These Latin Con tried sneaking around, and I got some shots off against them, and I've charged my Mongol infantry into melee along with this single Khan's guard.
Our brave warriors have killed our foe's general. Now his men will fear us.
So it looks like the TheIronPrice's general has been killed. So the Ottomans are well and truly defeated. So I was trying to stop this cavalry from flanking the Papal States. I didn't want them hitting his crossbowmen at all. So yeah, the men-at-arms are not really pushing through these Byzantine infantry. It's kind of still very even though there's more of these men-at-arms. But a nice charge from these general's bodyguard units should help even out the fight in the or sway it in the way of the Papal States. There's nothing even about what's going to happen. It's a nice charge. Lancers down should obliterate these ranging guard, and that causes the entire Byzantine force to rout in that instant. So there's still some Byzantine cavalry over here, along with these spearmen of the TheIronPrice, but they should be defeated relatively easily. These Hashashim though are not going to go down easily at all. Hashashim, even in low numbers, are pretty deadly. Their attack stats and just melee stats are just unbelievable. You really don't want these guys in any sort of position in your army.
General. That coward can go feast with his savior.
And that looks like it's part of the French engagement. So it looks like Spain sending some forces over here, and he's just using a small number of his forces to clean up the French pikemen. Some of these chivalric knights might be coming in to assist as well. And there's a nice cavalry charge here with some chivalric knights hoping to break this force. A double charge completely obliterates these pikemen.
These weaklings run. Hunt them down.
Very nice. So yeah, it's just a case of regrouping now, regrouping the armies and consolidating ourselves. This Russian and Egyptian fight is probably the last one going on. It was probably the first one that started, and it's still ongoing. Now these Devar can get in on the action, now that the rest of the Russian infantry has been defeated. As you can see, these Hashashim just refuse to go down. Very brave men, the Hashashim.
See the enemy run before our might. We will leave nothing behind but widows and orphans.
So it looks like the Russians have been pretty much cleared out at this point. There's not a lot of Russian forces left, except for these dismounted Devar who are getting hit in the back with Nefertunes. That's nasty. But at this point, I think the battle was won. I think Sayan's just getting some glory kills at this point. These Devar are weakened, and they're getting hit in the back with Nefertunes.
These spineless dogs have fled the battle.
It looks like he's finally managed to defeat the Russians. But upon turning around, he will see the might of the Papal States army, along with the Spanish allies and a splattering of Mongol infantry, and they will realise that victory is not on their side. We've just got some cavalry cleaning up some of these infantry units. We don't want those guys returning, not this... well, at this point in the battle, it's pretty clear. It's a pretty clear victory, but it's still something that we don't want to have to clean up later on. So yeah, that's pretty much the battle. There goes Sayan. He just admitted defeat. As I say, just to help speed the battle along. A very interesting battle, very epic for 4 versus 4. Wish I could do more sort of large-scale battles like this. So it was a very interesting battle. So these are the statistics. It was an average victory, so nothing special. Me with the Mongols got 557 kills with 52 captures. So I probably did the worst on my team. Criminal-Copykill getting 858 kills with 334 captures, so very good job there from Criminal-Copykill. The Papal States, commanded by Pug on Fire, should I say, getting 851 kills and 224 captures. And Teutonic Elite getting 731 kills and 10 captures. Personally, I think Papal States was probably the MVP of our group. Even though he didn't get the most kills or captures, he was certainly all over the battlefield. And with helping me, he allowed us to defeat the Byzantines without too much hassle. Still very very good good play there by everyone on our team. Sayan playing as the Egyptians, again very brave, and I commend him for bringing the Egyptians, because I rarely ever see them played very well, and he did play very well in this battle, getting 765 kills and 160 captures. Very nice there from the Egyptians. In fact, if you look at these two, the Russians and the Egyptians who were fighting, there's hardly anything in it, so the two of them did absolutely fantastic at destroying each other. The Byzantines being played by gualtieruzzo, getting 913 kills and 149 captures, so getting the most kills, but obviously not getting that many captures due to being defeated, but very well played there by gualtieruzzo. Certainly gave my Mongols a run for their money. Definitely basically walked over my infantry. It was only my cavalry that was my saving grace in this battle. TheIronPrice playing as the Ottomans, getting 267 kills and 5 captures. That's probably due to his army choice. The Ottomans don't do well in a rush anyway, but all those spearmen were going to get hacked down by Pug-on-Fire's men-at-arms, so I think it was just an army choice, although his Hashishim probably did really well in the battle. It was just his spearmen that let him down. And then Dirtbiker playing as France, getting 450 kills and 27 captures. Again, probably the army choice. He brought a lot of crossbowmen and pikemen, which I don't think is a generally a good idea, unless you're going to use a pikeman to support your heavy infantry, which, by the looks of it, the pikemen were getting into isolated fights against the swordsman militia, and didn't have their pikes down, so they were getting hacked to bits by the militia units. Just have a quick look at the statistics. So a general's bodyguard, on my general's bodyguard and my Khan's guard, got quite a 61, 62 kills. That's probably the most kills out of my my army, yeah. And that's about as good as my army got. The rest, two of the other Khan's guard not getting too many kills. I think they were bogged down in fights that they could not do well in. Mongol infantry getting some kills, but I really expect more from them. They're an arch unit that's good in melee, so you kind of expect to get every single kill that you can out of them, whereas most archers and crossbowmen tend to not do too well after they fire. These guys are expensive enough and have decent enough melee stats to actually make that worth it. And unfortunately, these guys didn't perform as well. And then a dismounted heavy archer unit. I thought these guys would be really good because they've got maces in melee, but looking at the kills, they didn't really perform as well as I thought they would, so I think I'll just stick to the Mongol infantry in future. Dismounted heavy lancers, holding the line quite well, but really they didn't get that many kills, but they did the job at holding the line, so those guys did okay. And then unit of light lancers was up against some Byzantine spearmen and absolutely destroyed them, so that's probably where those 33 kills came from. Nafatoons, one of my Nafatoons got 1 kill. That's pretty pathetic. The others did better than I thought they would. I thought they would have just got no kills at all, but they seem to have got some kills, and they were obviously doing morale effect as well, so they did okay in that regard. Mongol, my mounted Mongol heavy archers, again, not doing too many kills for what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be, again, horse archers that are pretty decent in melee, and I think I got them into really bad positions. I'm not one for using horse archers, so I can expect that was probably the reason why I just put them in really bad positions. This 37 one was probably the one that was killing the killing these spearmen, which again is not very cost effective for shooting in the backs of spearmen. And then my peasants getting 5 kills from somewhere. So the peasants pulled their part, and they did slow down the enemy advance. But yeah, I wish I'd known, or wish I'd assumed that the Byzantines were going to rush. I may have decided to rework my army. Certainly, maybe changed out some of the Mongol horse archers with some more heavy cav, just to help tie down all that Byzantine cav that ended up in my rear. But still, I certainly played my part well, holding the centre, holding the Byzantines in place whilst the other players fought their fights, and then they could assist me in finally finishing off the Byzantines. But unfortunately, I think I broke a bit too soon. I didn't really do anything to the Byzantine army. I managed to kill some of the cavalry, but only with the help of the Papal States, and I still ended up with cavalry in my rear, which was not great at all. So, again, I like the Mongols, but sometimes I just cannot play them at all. So I'll certainly practice with them a bit more. But yeah, a really nice epic 4v4. I really do enjoy playing battles like this every now and then. Not too often, but again, just something nice to a nice change from the old 2 versus 2. And as I say, I want to get into free-for-alls at some point as well, because I hardly ever play free-for-all battles. So yeah, that was the battle, guys. Thank you very much to all the players playing this battle. They're all really good players, and I suggest that you check them all out when you get the chance. And I think that's everything. Yeah, that seems to be everything. So yeah, thank you very much, and I shall see you all in the next battle.